Okay, we're going to cook my creamy mushroom risotto. So hopefully you've got your pan just on getting nice and hot on the small burner. And we need to add a teaspoon of oil and one of the knobs of butter. So, teaspoon of oil in, and then one of the knobs of butter. And you can see that it's not a very big knob of butter. There's no point measuring it out, as long as it looks something like that. And we'll give this a swirl around, and we're going to add our shallots in next. Okay. As the butter's melting, we can add the shallots, and they'll just start cooking out. There we go. And just give them a stir. Just stir it into the butter. And all we're doing here is just cooking these for literally 30 seconds, if that. And then we're going to add the mushrooms. There we go. We're not adding the garlic yet because we're going to turn the heat right up for the mushrooms in a second, and it just saves the problem of the garlic burning. So hopefully nothing really much will have happened with your shallots. So I'm going to change it to the main burner. So turn the heat up really high now, and we're going to add in all of the mushrooms. So straight in. And then just try and give them a toss together in the pan if you can. Sometimes it's easier said than done, and you'll end up mushrooms everywhere. So just gently move it around the pan. Just try and get them coated. Go. And now we're going to add a pinch of salt and pepper. Do the pepper first. Good couple of twists. Mushrooms really like salt and pepper. The pepper. And then a nice big pinch of salt. And just keep the mushrooms moving around in the pan. Go. All you want to do with all we're doing here is just starting the cooking process. Maybe just starting to get a little bit of colour on the mushrooms would be perfect. And then we can just throw in the garlic for 30 seconds before we put the white wine in. And that way it'll just cook out the garlic enough so it doesn't taste like raw garlic, but it won't burn it. So just keep moving the mushrooms around. They should be wilting down slightly now. Might make it easier to stir. So I've still got it on the full power though. Alright. So hopefully yours is looking something like this. See how easy this is so far? And we can just add in the garlic. As I said, we're just going to cook this for about 30 seconds, then add the white wine in next. So just give it a stir. There we go. And I think I said we're going to add the white wine in, but I'm just teasing you. Next in is the risotto rice itself. It wouldn't be much of a risotto without the rice. So just tip the rice straight in and give it a stir. And any juices or butter, oil, this is going to coat the risotto rice beautifully. So just give it a nice stir. And then next we are going to add in the wine. I'm just delaying it because I don't want to see it go. Okay. So we can add the wine in now. Now we just need to give this a stir. And we can let this bubble away. And what we're going to do is we're going to leave this to bubble until a lot of the liquid has been absorbed. And the way you'd normally do a risotto is just to keep adding the liquid ladle by ladle, and it's very laborious. But I've done all the hard work for you. So the two things that can go wrong in risotto is how much liquid and whether the rice is cooked or not. And that's why you do it ladle by ladle until it's cooked. But I've taken the hard work out of it for you because all these measurements, this is tried and tested. So it'll be much easier and the end result will be fantastic. So we can just leave this to bubble. And then we're going to add in half the stock. So hopefully you've got your stock and all the ingredients ready. Probably going to give it just about another minute, maybe not quite. And all that's happening is that risotto rice is just absorbing all that lovely flavour from the mushrooms, and by putting the wine in it'll deglaze the pan, so any mushroom that had stuck slightly, all that lovely flavour is going into the risotto. It's amazing how much mushrooms reduce by when you saw the big plate of them, and it's difficult to stir when it first goes in. All adds to the flavour though. So hopefully yours is looking something like this. A lot of the moisture will have gone now. So we can add in half the stock. So just add in half of your stock, just roughly. About right. Give it a stir. Okay. And I'm going to move it on to one of the back burners, one of the medium burners now. So that's on full heat, but on one of the medium burners. And you can just leave this, you don't need to do anything to it, for 5 minutes. And then after 5 minutes, you're going to add in the rest of the stock. And then once you've added the rest of the stock in, leave it for 12 minutes. You can leave this boiling away, but when you add the rest of the stock in, bring it back to the boil and then just let it simmer for 12 minutes. And then when you come back, we'll just have to finish off and it'll be all fantastic and it'll taste great.